What does it take for one man to control hundreds of the most beautiful women on earth and keep them loyal? Today, we're exploring the secrets of history's greatest harems, where power, paranoia, and pleasure collided in ways you won't believe. Let's start with the Ottoman sultans. These rulers didn't just collect women. They built an empire of desire. The harem was a maze of spies, seduction, and ruthless politics. Eunuchs guarded every door, and each concubine was ranked, from the lowest odalisque to the powerful Haseki Sultan, the sultan's favorite. So how did they keep order? By turning the harem into a cutthroat competition. Mothers plotted to make their sons heirs, but the sultans had a brutal answer: the law of fratricide. If you wanted the throne, you had to kill your brothers. Power was never given. It was taken through blood, sex, and fear. In China, under the Ming and Qing emperors, the imperial harem could hold over 3,000 concubines. Each woman was carefully chosen from noble families because sleeping with the emperor wasn't just a reward, it was a political move. The women were ranked in strict order, from noble consorts down to lowly attendants, and competition was fierce. How did the emperor keep them in line? With the Jinyue, the secret police who listened for whispers of rebellion or betrayal. One rumor of disloyalty and you simply vanished. The Mughal emperors of India brought indulgence to a whole new level. Akbar the Great kept hundreds of wives and concubines, but here's the twist. He rotated his favorites every week, making sure no woman ever felt secure. Harems were guarded like fortresses, and many concubines worked as spies, reporting back to the emperor. Some were princesses of rival kingdoms, married off to keep peace, turning the emperor's bed into a political chessboard. One wrong move meant death. Persian kings, from Cyrus the Great to Darius, ruled empires that stretched across continents. Their harems weren't just places of pleasure. They were prisons for princesses. Daughters of defeated rulers were taken into the harem, stripped of power and forced to live as trophies, constant reminders of Persian dominance. Here, every conquest ended with a woman locked in a gilded cage. This wasn't romance. It was power, raw and unforgiving. In Morocco, the sultans kept smaller but intense harems. Slave concubines could rise to incredible power, but fear ruled everything. When sultans suspected betrayal, they sometimes ordered mass executions, wiping out their entire harem overnight to crush conspiracies. It was rule by terror, proving a small harem could still become a powder keg. In ancient Rome, emperors like Elagabalus and Commodus didn't call it a harem, but they surrounded themselves with mistresses, courtesans, and lovers. These emperors used sex as a weapon, flaunting their excesses to humiliate enemies and reward loyal friends. In Rome, the harem wasn't hidden. It was a symbol of the emperor's absolute power. African kings, like Shaka Zulu and the Obas of Benin, used polygamy as a powerful political tool. Each wife represented an alliance with a tribe or clan, and kings sometimes had dozens of wives, all bound by strict rules. Disloyalty was punished swiftly and brutally. The harem here wasn't just for pleasure. It was the backbone of an empire. In Korea's Joseon dynasty, kings ran harems with strict Confucian ranks. The king's consorts competed fiercely for his favor, while families schemed behind the scenes to see their daughters rise. The rules were harsh, and punishments were legendary. Exile or execution kept everyone in constant fear. Even in Confucian Korea, desire was a deadly game. So how did these rulers keep control? They used absolute hierarchy with clear ranks and severe punishments. They trusted eunuchs or loyal guardians with no personal stake. They rotated favorites, so no one grew too comfortable. They divided and ruled, pitting women against each other so they could never unite. And above all, they ruled with fear, knowing a single word could mean a life of luxury or sudden death. Every man dreams of ultimate power, but history's greatest emperors understood one thing. Desire is the easiest weapon to wield and the hardest to control. The greatest harems in history remind us that if you don't master your passions, they will master you.